Right, it's time to incorporate, we'll do one hazard. We're going to make an oil slick and we're going to pop it onto the track. Now, you could draw the oil slicks on the actual canvas by going into the canvas, going to the backdrops and sort of drawing them on. The slight problem with that is if you want to move them around or duplicate them, you've got to keep going back into the stage to do that, to edit it. So actually it becomes a little bit easier if we don't draw it actually on the stage, but we draw it as a separate sprite. So I'm going to click on New Sprite. I'm going to paint one here, and I've got black here and I've got a little brush, so I'm going to draw something, a little sort of oil slick shape. It doesn't really matter too much what it looks like. It looks a bit like Africa, doesn't it? And we're going to flood fill that with black, and you can see I've got my sprite here. Okay, just going to click on scripts here. Now, first things first, we really should be thinking about good naming conventions, and calling this Sprite 1 doesn't really help. If you click on the blue eye here, we can actually change the name of it, and these are some commands here that we're not going to use in this particular set of videos, but I don't know how to explain that, to be honest with you. We're not going to use them, so just ignore them for the moment. I'm going to put oil slick, I'm going to call it oil slick 1. And when I press this little arrow again here, you can see that it's been renamed. Now I'm going to put my oil slick on my course here. Let's put it around about here. Perhaps a little bit on the big side. Maybe we should shrink that down a fraction. Maybe one more. Oh, that'll do. Doesn't really matter too much. Now, the command that we need to put into this game is simply if the car touches the oil slick, then spin. So we need to be on the car itself. It's if the car touches the oil slick, not if the oil slick touches the car. So if the car touches the oil slick, the car will spin. Not if the oil slick touches the car, the oil slick would spin. That wouldn't make any sense. Round and round on the oil slick. So we need the command to spin in this car section here. Now, you could do it within this forever loop as an if then else, and if touching black. But to be honest with you, sometimes I think it works in there. To be honest with you, I think it's a little bit easier, perhaps in this particular case, to create our own separate block. But it's a task here, so I'm not going to do the block for you. I'll give you some clues. You need to be asking a question constantly. If you're asking something constantly, you're going to need yourself a forever loop. Now the thing is, basically when you say forever, if touching. Now, we need an if statement. We don't need an if then else because it's just if touching. And we know we've got our if statement, so we'll drop that there. We're going to need one of those. We know we need a touching one. We're not touching a colour this time. If we press touching here, can you see? It says oil slick 1. If I had lots of graphics, all the graphics would be listed here. So we need this one. I'm just going to drop that there. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue. If you want to make the car spin in a circle, that means it's got to go round 360 degrees. So we're going to need to turn it. But the problem is that if you turn something 360 degrees, it's done so quickly in Flash for a minute, in Scratch, that you won't be able to see it. So the sensible thing to do is to break that turn down. So in fact, you might want to say turn 30 degrees 12 times, or turn 36 degrees 10 times. So you're going to need a repeat command. So these are the blocks that you're going to need to make this happen. You're going to glue them all here. So if we just logically go through it, if touching oil slick 1, then turn 36 degrees 10 times. Now that turning action might be a bit quick. So you could always use our little favourite wait command if you just want to create a little bit of a delay in the spin. It's up to you. So those are the blocks that you're going to need, and I'm going to give you the opportunity now to have a go at solving this one for yourself. And if you struggle with this one, the solution of course is going to be in the next video.